Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James, who took to Instagram to share a screen grab of a Vanity Fair article about Aunt Becky's legal case. And he wrote in part, "I'm laughing because sometimes you have to, just to keep from crying. Don't make no damn sense to me. We just want the same treatment if committed of the same crime, that's all." He went on to say, we'll just keep pushing forward and not expecting the handouts. Strong, black, and powerful. Now, the NBA icon continues to use his platform to cast light on racial disparities in the U.S. Last month, he was praised and heavily criticized after joining players in protests over the shooting of Jacob Blake in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Now, the move put a pause on the NBA playoff games for 3 days. Now, what is interesting about this, and mind you, other celebrities also weighed in. 50 Cent took to his social media, "Yeah, that sounds about white. I have never heard of that before. You go into jail, but pick anyone you want to go to. LOL, this is fucked up." Actress Viola Davis added, "What? Is it punishment if you get to choose? Is she going to choose her meal program too?" Actor Lorenz Tate said, never mind. We know what it is, always. Now, let's just go back to LeBron James for a minute, because he also ended the week in a kind of weird situation. Not weird, but it's probably a more common occurrence in a lot of parents' households than we would think. But LeBron James's younger son, Bronny James, was caught smoking up on Instagram. Now, in the video, the 15-year-old is seen smoking what appears to be a blunt on his Instagram stories. Now, while the video has been removed from his account, screenshots of the 6'2" baller smoking have spread like wildfire, right? Now, many fans proceeded to call out the teen, more so for embarrassing his superstar father than for actually smoking. Others blatantly defended the young man, saying teens are known to experiment and that being the son of a famous athlete does not change that. Now, LeBron James has since posted a little shot saying basically that's why you have to keep your circle tight, because it is being alleged that someone filmed him. But it looks like he is in the car and he's filming himself. Now, to me, the slap on the wrist is not that this 15-year-old is out smoking weed. It is that he filmed it and posted it like honey bunny. Now, the younger James just finished his freshman year at Sierra Canyon High School, which is a private school in Chatsworth, California. Now, LeBron has previously stated that he hopes that his son will play, or that he will play in the NBA long enough to be in the league at the same time as his son. Now, reps for James did not respond to questions from Page 6, which I wouldn't either. But apparently this is not the first time that young LeBron has been caught perhaps having a little tokey-wokey out there. And I'll say this. Again, he is super young. And kids will definitely embarrass you at every juncture in the road and every opportunity that they can get, because sometimes their brains, which are not fully developed, even at his 6'2" frame, is not fully developed. So therefore, they don't know the consequences of a lot of their decision making. And I'm sure this will go away. But I'm sure for a lot of parents, they can totally relate. My thing is, don't Film it even. Don't post it, huh? Don't be a knucklehead. Speaking of, now we talked previously about Dr. Dre and his wife, and how she is currently asking for, it was a ridiculous amount of money. I think it was $2.9 million a month for spousal support, which included something of somewhere upwards in the six-figure range for philanthropic donations. I love it. Well, things between Dr. Dre and his soon-to-be ex-wife, Nicole Young, are getting messier by the moment. Now, in developments this week, Nicole now claims that she is the co-owner of Dr. Dre's name and also of his legendary album, The Chronic. Now, according to Page Six, Dr. Dre and Nicole Young are currently in the middle of a very hostile divorce with $1 billion empire at stake. And it appears that Nicole is coming for his wig. Now, according to new court documents, Nicole has just filed a lawsuit against Dr. Dre, claiming that she co-owns the trademark to his stage name, as well as the name of his classic album, The Chronic. She also alleges that Dre secretly transferred the valuable trademarks to a holding company after he kicked her out of their home earlier this year. Now, Nicole Young is currently being represented by highly sought-after LA Power attorney Brian J. Friedman. Now, in court documents filed by Nicole's legal team, she elaborates on the transferring of the trademark, stating that Dre was caught secretly transferring valuable trademark he owns with his wife to a newly created asset holding company that he created and controlled after he expelled his wife from their home. Catch that. Now, I'm not sure, I don't know if you know this, but Nicole also has a law degree. Oh, yes. Nicole is coming for her bangs, okay? And whether or not Dr. Dre wants to see it, it looks like she's gonna get it. Now, I'm only laughing because, this is the thing that kind of keeps people from fully committing to a lot of these relationships. Like the idea that when you get divorced, it'll be this messy. Why can't you just, because there's enough money for both of you. So what are we talking about here? Is this in an effort to hurt each other more, or is this an effort to split assets? Because it doesn't sound like the splits don't sound equal. Oh my goodness, this is exactly why people are petrified of getting married. Do you want to get married? Have I ever asked you that? It's an interesting question. And I think that in the world that we live in today, I guess, depending on, I believe, your moral and kind of character, history, you may feel like that's the only possibility. It's the only way. But is it? Well, if it's going to end like 55% of marriages do in this country, it's definitely going to be something to think about. I mean, I think it's definitely possible when you enter a mindful union with someone, but the marriage thing definitely has its drawbacks. Speaking of which, now a photo surfaced this week of, now you guys know who Kim Zolciak is, right? Kim Zolciak of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, you know that she is married to ex-football player Croy Bierman. He played for many years for a couple of teams, including the Atlanta Falcons. Now, Kim, who has two kids from a previous relationship, Brielle and Ariana, who also has a couple of kids with Croy, had a picture surface this week where people kind of came at her because the picture was of her daughter, Brielle, who is, I believe, over the age of 21 at this point. And again, not the biological daughter of Croy Bierman. But Brielle is seen sitting on Croy's lap, and Kim is seen standing behind them. Now, in the picture, I guess people got a little judgy because of the fact that Brielle is of a certain age and Croy is not her biological father. Now, if you know anything, you know that Croy did legally adopt both Brielle and Ariana, and both young ladies have since taken on Croy's last name. But that did not stop the internet from trolling and giving their less than humble opinion regarding having Brielle sit on Croy's lap. Is it awkward being that he's not her bio father? I mean, she has his last name, and for all intents and purposes, if he helped raise her, that's his daughter. Is it weird? I didn't find it to be weird, but apparently many of you on the internet found this image to be disturbing, to say the least. I don't know in what realm it could be considered disturbing. I'm not sure, but I would definitely say that that's, for all intents and purposes, in my mind, it seems to be her dad. So I don't think there's anything weird about it, but I could definitely see how people may be triggered by seeing it. But that's the thing, and I think especially in the world that we live in right now, where having these modern families that include, stepchildren and new husband or new wife and, what have you, kids from previous marriages, and how do you navigate that? I think it's oftentimes up to the individual families to decide. But I think that drawing in the uncomfortability factor of blood being the only way that we can have a close and intimate relationship is, it might be something to get mindful about. It might be something to really tap into. I think people really need to understand that there are different levels of intimacy, and biology does not determine that. And if they have a loving family relationship, I don't think that there's anything weird about that. But you guys definitely had your opinion. I'm going to post it up on my Twitter, and y'all tell me what y'all think. Let's take a quick break and come back and set this table, honey. We'll be right back.
Now, I know this is a presidential election year, and I know that most of you don't even know your local mayor's name. Even though this is a presidential election, there are many more candidates on the ballot besides the president. Go to Ballot Ready for a nonpartisan guide to your entire ballot. From there, you can compare candidates based on stance, issues, biography, and endorsements, and then save your choices to use when you vote by mail or in the voting booth. You can even request your absentee ballot or make a plan to vote early or on election day. Now, this election really matters. Make sure you have a plan to vote and vote informed. 30% of voters take the time to vote and then leave some part of their ballots blank. This is a missed opportunity to choose the leaders of our community. It's okay if you're unfamiliar with some of the more local positions. Listen, I recommend hosting a ballot party or getting together with friends over Zoom or listening to a seat at the table to stay informed. But if you can't get to all of that, now I don't know how you're going to hear this, but go to ballotready.org. That's right, ballotready.org. Enter your address, make a plan to vote, and then vote informed. Go to ballot